It was only last December when Cuba and the United States announced their intention to restore diplomatic relations. Fast forward to a hot Monday in July when, in a brief ceremony, one of the last vestiges of the Cold War fell as Cuba's flag was raised above its embassy for the first time since 1961. A similar event is scheduled for next month in Havana when US Secretary of State John Kerry travels to the island. Later, we'll talk with a former Cuban diplomat and a member of the US Congress. But for now, on today's historic events, we turn to CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg. He's outside the Cuban embassy here in Washington. Roee, let me ask you first, what was it like there today?
Well, it started off as a very ceremonial event here. There were some Cuban military in pomp and circumstance who raised the flag. The ceremony was overseen by the Cuban Foreign Minister, Bruno Rodriguez, who was here for the first time, obviously. That in itself was quite historic. And a lot of speeches, a lot of excitement. The Cuban Foreign Minister called for the lifting of the trade embargo that's been in place for some 50 years and said that while this is symbolic, that would really be the reflection of those relations returning. Then a lot of the excitement died out during the day. Bruno Rodriguez, in another historic event, visited the State Department. He met there with the US Secretary of State, John Kerry, his counterpart. The two men had what we were told was a substantive exchange. Again, Bruno Rodriguez pressed for the embargo to be lifted, and John Kerry said it's futile to live in the past, and he said that President Barack Obama would be pushing the Congress to do so. Now, in the course of the evening, as the workday has finished, we're here on 16th Street, one of the main hubs here in Washington, D.C., leaving the city north. You can see that there are some celebrations now starting behind me. We've heard some Cuban music, some dancing, lots of cheering, people saying, Viva Cuba, long live Cuba. We saw some of the embassy staff inside, looking outside, really enjoying these festivities. Really a festive moment here on Monday night, Anand.
Roee, there were some protesters outside the embassy when that flag-raising ceremony took place today, but more significantly, more importantly, there's opposition in the US Congress, the Republican-controlled Congress, right now towards lifting the economic and travel embargo which was imposed on Cuba. So where does it go to from here?
Indeed, and most of the protesters here now, I should know, are supporting the opening of the embassy and want that trade embargo removed. But there are Republican lawmakers who are leading both houses of U.S. Congress who are opposed to this normalization in relations. People like Senator Marco Rubio, he is a Cuban-American lawmaker running for president, said if he wins, he would close the embassy and turn back the clock on day one. That's the type of opposition that the Obama administration is facing and will likely continue to face in the coming months.
Thanks, Roee. That's CCTV's